My name is Chris. Bella, that's enough. Be quiet. Bella, stop. All right, so my name is Chris. I'm a veteran, and I own. This video is meant for somebody who's on the fence about whether or not they should buy the standard range or the long range. So I have information and I have experience from driving both, because I own both. I have a standard range Model 3 and I have a long range Model 3, and I can tell you the differences between the two. So here in my garage, this is my long range. It's a 2022 Tesla Model 3 long range, and this one over here is a 2022 Tesla Model 3 standard range. Now, in 2021, Tesla started using LFP batteries, lithium iron phosphate. LFP stands for lithium iron phosphate. They started using it in their standard range Model 3s and Ys. So basically, it's a battery that doesn't use a lot of rare earth metals like cobalt, nickel, manganese. The long range versions, they use NMC batteries, which stands for nickel, manganese, and cobalt. So one of the downsides to LFP batteries is they're not as energy dense, so they can't store as much energy. But one of the benefits to them is that they have a higher thermal threshold, so they stand up to heat a lot better, and they can actually do more charge and discharge cycles. So an NMC battery can do about 2,000 to 2,500 charge and discharge cycles. An LFP battery can do about 3,000 to 5,000 charge and discharge cycles. So you're talking about a battery that, in theory, could do twice as many charge and discharge cycles. So if you're on the fence about should I get a standard range, should I get a long range, I'm going to tell you the differences between the two, and maybe it'll help you clear up which one you should get and which one you shouldn't get. So here we go. I got both, and I can tell you the cost to fill them up. So right here, I got it written down. So if you're charging at home, I pay about 18 cents a kilowatt. At a supercharger, I pay on average about 35 cents a kilowatt. So to charge the standard range at home, it costs about $10.80 from empty to full. Now the long range, it costs about $14.76 to charge from empty to full, because the standard range has a 60 kilowatt battery and the long range has a 82 kilowatt battery. Now to charge at a supercharger, it costs me about $21, and that's an average price of 35 cents a kilowatt for the standard range, and it cost me about $28.70 for the long range. Now, why would you want the long range version over the standard range? Now, the warranty is actually better for the long range version. You get a warranty for about 120,000 miles to 8 years. And with I'm going to sit in my car, but 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first. So, and then with the standard range, you get about 100,000 miles or 8 years, whichever comes first. Now, another reason why you'd want the long range version over the standard range is if you were somebody who goes on frequent road trips. Okay, you go on a long road trip and you want to save time, and you want to save time. That's basically it. That's really all you're going to save. Not really going to save money, but so yeah, you'll get there a little bit quicker with a long range version than you would, but the amount of time that you save is minuscule. It's very, very minuscule. Like, you don't really save that much time. Like, maybe you go on like an 8-hour road trip, you're going to save like 30 minutes. Really? You're just going to get there 30 minutes quicker in the long range version than you would in the standard range. So does it justify the extra $7,000? Another benefit to having the long range version is increased performance. All right, 2 motors are better than one. So you definitely feel the torque with two motors versus one. Like when I have two motors, it sucks you in your seat. Now with one motor, you still feel that power, but man, two motors is, man, it is, yeah, you definitely feel the difference. So maybe you want the increased performance, you want more power, you want more torque, and you want to be able to save time on long road trips. Then, or you live in a cold climate and you need all-wheel drive. Now, and I've also heard another thing too, that LFP batteries don't do that well in the cold. So maybe you live in a colder climate and you want all-wheel drive front and back, so that way you can get in and out of the snow. Like I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so it's not really a concern for us. We don't really need all-wheel drive, because it's sunny all year round, so we don't really need it. But if you need the all-wheel drive, then that would be a reason why you'd want to get a long-range version. LFP batteries tend to do better in warmer climates than they do in colder climates, so I've heard, but I mean, who knows? Yeah, so so the recommended daily charge for a long-range version, any battery that has NMC, is 80% for daily driving. So if my car is just chilling, I want it to keep it between 20% and 70%. That is the recommended state of charge. Like, you're going to get the longest longevity out of your battery if you keep it within that limit. So that's what I try to do. Like, unless I'm driving my car right away, I know one of the benefits to LFP batteries, that's my standard range, right? I'm in my long range right now. Benefits of the LFP batteries is you can charge it to 100%. It doesn't really affect the battery that much. Like, I still think charging to 100% is not good for the battery, and I definitely don't want to charge it to 100% and then let it chill at 100%. Like, I want to charge it to 100% and then I want to use it right away. Like, I don't want to just let it sit. Like, I want to drive it immediately after charging it to 100%. That's me personally. That's what I do with my vehicles. But until there's more research out that explains why, or the benefits or the pros and cons, I try to keep it between 20% and 70%. And if I'm like, with my standard range is the only vehicle that I charge to 100%. And when I do charge it to 100%, I drive it immediately afterwards, and I'm trying to get it down to 70%. That's just me. I'm trying to protect my vehicles. I want them to last as long as possible. But I have both. And the really, like, and one of the things, like, I'm going to go back to this because I know I jump around a lot. I got ADD like a motherfucker. But the long range version, they say you're only supposed to charge it to 80%. So when I charge my car to 80%, I get about, like right now I'm at 70%. And 70%, 224 miles. Okay? Now when the car is charged to 80%, is what they recommend, about 255 miles of range. Now, my long range version, when I charge it up to 100%, I get about 265 miles of range. So I actually get more range out of that. And I will drive these cars all day, and I will tell you how long I'll be able to drive it. I can actually drive in city driving or mixed city and highway driving. Like if you're thinking about doing rideshare or something, I can get about 7 or 8 hours of driving with the standard range. All right. That's with stop and go, hopping on the highway, coming off the highway, driving around the city. Yeah, I can get about 7 or 8 hours of driving. Now with the long range version, because I can only charge it to 80%, and it is not as efficient. Like, I definitely drain the battery quicker in this car than I do in the other car. Like, I will get about 6 hours of mixed driving between city and 7 hours at the most. But I definitely like driving the standard range more than I like driving the long range. because I feel like the battery lasts longer, and I definitely feel like that car is more efficient with the energy. Like, I'm definitely draining the battery a lot slower than I am in the long range version. And I just feel like that vehicle is more efficient. So what are the benefits of the long range version? So I'm going to do a little recap at the end of this video. And I don't know, just, what are the benefits of it? Increased power. You got 2 motors instead of 1. So you definitely have more power and you have more torque. Okay? Your 0 to 60 is fucking insanely higher, better, faster, right? You save time on road trips. You go on a long road trip, you're going to save a little bit of time because this has a bigger battery. This battery pack in this car is 82 kilowatts. In a standard range model 3 and Y, you're going to get 60 kilowatts. So you'll save time on long road trips. That's a benefit. Now, what are the benefits of the standard range? Now, the standard range Model 3, the LFP batteries. There's, like in 2021, Tesla started using LFP batteries, and the research on them is very, very promising. They're talking about a battery that can last twice as long, can do more charge and discharge cycles, has a safer thermal runaway, higher resistance to heat, especially if you live in a hot or warmer climate like Arizona or California, or wherever, like a hot climate. LFP is the way to go. Like, these batteries are going to last way longer. But yeah, more charge and discharge cycles. The vehicle is more energy efficient. It will drive more efficiently. You'll get more range, and you're going to save money more in the long run with the standard range, because if something breaks on it, it's a lot cheaper to replace a 60 kilowatt battery than it is to replace an 82 kilowatt battery. And if one of your motors breaks, the vehicle can still run. Like, if one of your motor breaks on the long range or performance model, it'll still work with one motor. But if one motor breaks, you got to fix one motor. But if 2 motors break, now you got to fix 2 motors. And that's more money. It's going to cost you more money to fix 2 motors than it will to fix one. And it's going to be cheaper to replace a 60 kilowatt battery versus an 82 kilowatt battery. So which one makes more sense? What saves you more money in the long run? The standard range, because it has LFP batteries. Those batteries are going to last you longer, right? And a 60 kilowatt battery is a lot cheaper to replace than an 82 kilowatt battery. And if my motor breaks in my standard range, I only have one motor to worry about. In the long range, I got 2 motors to worry about. I got a motor in the front, motor in the back. So is it worth the extra $7,000 or $8,000? And over the life of the vehicle, I'm going to save more money on electricity, because the standard range is more efficient with the electricity and the power. So the estimated EPA range on a long range is about 135 miles per gallon. Now, with the standard range, it's about 145 miles per gallon. So I'm actually going to save more money in the long run with the standard range. And it's going to be cheaper to maintain. And obviously, if I could go back, I would have just gotten the standard range instead of the long range. And obviously I have both now. So it is what it is. But now I have experience that I can share with you guys. I have both vehicles, and I can share with you my experience, and I can tell you what I've learned from driving both vehicles. And I've been a Tesla owner for 2 years, and yeah, if you're on the fence about should I get the standard range or the long range, I would go standard range. If I were you, I would go standard range, unless you are going on long road trips and you want the increased performance of 2 motors versus 1. If you're drag racing, but if you're not doing all that, you're just like a normal Joe Schmo and you want a good vehicle that's going to be reliable, get you from point A to point B, standard range. It's like LFP batteries are a far superior battery chemistry. You're going to save more money in electricity over the long run because the vehicle moves more efficiently. than the long range version does. It has a higher estimated EPA level than a long range version. So yeah, if you're on the fence, I would go standard range. That's it. So hopefully you got some value out of my video, and I don't know if anybody's going to watch this video, but I hope that it was helpful. And if you were on the fence and you didn't know which one to get, I hope this helped. I hope it helped you make up your mind, and I hope it gave you some good information. And I know I kind of said it very quickly, but that was it. So, and I hope you have a good day. All right, thank you. Bye.